journalist workshops. So get together groups, they invent their own magazine, their title, their design, all of their content, do all of it in 6 weeks. There are also workshops in television documentary, radio documentary, and we have an investigative workshop that does a major project every year that's quite extraordinary, and has that project's often done in conjunction with a media partner.
Right.
And pretty much almost always gets nominated for some pretty cool awards.
Oh, fantastic.
And then the program wraps up with a 4-week internship, which can be done anywhere in the world and has been done everywhere in the world in a media house of some kind. So it's a very practical, very pragmatic program to teach people multimedia, a little bit about everything, and it yet allows students to specialize in what their core interests are.
Wonderful. I know that one question that I get a lot on the phones in the admission office, people want to know whether or not they need to have a background in journalism in order to be able to come in and do well in this one-year program.
The answer is no. We have an incredibly diverse and eclectic class every year. So we get people who have been working in journalism for a few years. They may have been running their own blog, they may have been copy editing on a newspaper, they may have been doing all sorts, running community radio. But we also get people with no journalism background at all, but great desire. So really what we're looking for is proven interest in journalism rather than skills and experience. Right. So the program's designed so that if you do have, if you have been working on a newspaper for a couple of years, you can then do a workshop, you can learn video skills, you can learn radio skills, audio skills. So it is designed so it can be either one. We've had lawyers go through the program, we've had doctors go through the program, and most people go through it because they want to do journalism, but occasionally we have people come through it who want to do something else, but they need these skills to do that.
And it's wonderful, I think, what the students learn from each other, because you have people who are very young in their career, but also you have people that are coming from a variety of different backgrounds, maybe people who've finished their career and are now looking to try something new and exciting. Yeah.
It's interesting. Each year the class has a character of its own, and we all really anticipate the new students coming in because we want to see what that class is going to be like each year. It's pretty exciting for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a wonderful question here. One of our people in the audience wants to know, what's the difference between the one-year program and the 4-year program?
Big difference. One of the things King's is known for is interdisciplinary education. That really is what King's is all about. And journalism, you can sort of see it as the ultimate interdisciplinary program. So in the 4-year program, you're required to do a lot of study outside journalism. We want students to have a grounding in other kinds of knowledge as well. So the 4-year program, you'll study some Canadian politics. You can do a combined honors degree with theater or Spanish or French. You can study all sorts of things, but you'll have that grounding in another subject. So the 1-year program, people already have that grounding coming in. So the boot camp, the 8-week boot camp, we give those students a sense of what the other students have done in the first 3 years of the program. But also the 1 year is not an honors degree.
Right.
It's just a straight up Bachelor of Journalism.
Yeah. One question that I received today by phone, there was a student wondering what it's like, because the student heard that coming out of the boot camp period, you go into your series of workshops and you're combined with the 4-year students, and they're wondering, am I prepared to be working with students who've been involved in journalism for 3 years prior to this? What would you have to say to that?
Generally, yes. I mean, they do come in at different levels, but often the 1-year students also are more mature and have better time management skills. That's often true. But I think that the 4-year students, they have been studying and thinking about journalism longer. There is a difference in the two cohorts. I think they work really well together. I think both groups draw some inspiration from each other.
I would have to agree. I did the 4-year journalism program myself, and I remember becoming amalgamated with the 1-year students, and they came in, like you said, with these incredible time management skills, with these beautiful backgrounds that made for some good story ideas. And then we also gave a lot to them too by nature of the fact that we've been going through the program.
I also think by the 4th year, everyone in journalism has been together for 4 years.
Yes.
And it's nice for them to have a bit more seasoning in the group, you know.
You're absolutely right. This next question feeds well into this, I think. The question is, what is the average age of a participant in the Bachelor of Journalism 1-year program?
Well, yeah, you might actually, since you look at all
Yeah.
of the applications, might be able to answer better than I can. But again,
Yeah.
each class is so remarkably different.
Absolutely.
So we have had classes since I got here where I would say the average age was 31, 32, and we've had classes where I would say the average age was 24 or 25.
Absolutely.
We've had a range from, in a single class from age 22 to 63, I think, last year.
Yep, absolutely. And I think that's what's remarkable about this program is there's something for everybody to learn, and age really doesn't play a whole lot into the newsroom. You're all learning together, you're all practicing together, and you form that bond by nature of the fact that you're working on this program together. Which is fantastic. And we do have a question here. I think it's a great one. It says that it mentions on the website that it's possible to combine the Bachelor of Journalism program with the Master of Journalism program. And people are wondering what that's all about.
That is a really good question. And those of you who are interested in the Master of Journalism program, which we're really proud of, it's very different. I hope you'll stick around for the 11 or the 8:30 version of this broadcast.
Absolutely.
The students who come into the Bachelor of Journalism get preferred status
Yes.
in applying for the Master of Journalism. If you do well in the Bachelor of Journalism program, you are extremely likely to get into the Master of Journalism program. You get to the top of the heap. So it allows you to do a master's in less than 2 years, and you get 2 degrees out of it. So you can come in for the Bachelor of Journalism thinking you'll stay for the master's, and then you can decide, no, I think I want to go work for a couple of years and come back for the master's. And so after 8 months, you graduate, you get a degree, you walk across the stage, you go work at, wherever you're going to work. Or you can say, no, I really want the specialized knowledge that master's will give me. I really want to do digital, or I really want to learn data scraping. And then it's designed so you get a month's break, and then you flow right into the master's. So they are designed to work in partnership with each other.
Absolutely, and it's great having the 1-year option available because there are a ton of students who are interested in the master options, but they don't have that previous university degree in journalism. The thought of going back for a 4-year program is rather daunting, and so being able to segue right out of this 1-year program and into the master, I think is a strength. And I think that this is probably a good time for us to address the admission requirements for this program. Typically, we look for a student that has a strong B average. Again, we take a holistic approach to our admission in that if you've been working for a number of years, you have a strong portfolio, maybe you don't have that B average, university was a long time ago. We do encourage anybody in any situation to submit an application if they think that they could be good for this program. If we don't accept you this time, then it provides us with an opportunity to give you some feedback on how you can improve your application for future years. And we do have people who will apply multiple times to a program and be successful at gaining admission. In fact, we really respect that, don't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah. In terms of the application for this program, you can either do a paper application and mail it into the University of King's College, or it can be completed online. There is a $70 application fee, which you can pay via credit card right on the application, or you can submit a check or a money order. Make sure that it's made out to the University of King's College. We do request a 1,000-word autobiographical essay, which is your opportunity to explain to the committee in 1,000 words why you think that you would be interested in our program and what you think that you could bring to this program. And I think we'll elaborate on that in just a few moments. That there completes an application, but there are some optional things that one can submit. We love looking at resumes because it gives us a good sense of who you are and the background that you've had and the interests that you have. We also will accept up to 3 letters of reference, and there's no form for that like there is for our master program. People can just write in whatever they feel or think, and we'll take that into consideration. The application deadline, we suggest that you apply by the 15th of February. This is a limited enrollment program, which means we can't guarantee that there will be space available after February 15th, but we do consider applicants on an ongoing basis right up until the point that the program is full, and after that we would move into a wait list, and we would let people know what they rank on the wait list.
And we do have some pretty robust scholarships as well in this program.
Absolutely. Very robust scholarships, and we've actually listed all of the different scholarship opportunities on the paper application as well as on the online application. So as you're applying for the university, you will actually be able to submit your application for any of the scholarships that would pertain to you, and we highly encourage you to fill out that section so that we can provide financial aid where needed. We have awards that are smaller, but we also have awards that range, I think, as high as $9,000. Isn't
We
that
do,
correct?
yes.
So we would encourage you to apply for those. Now, this letter of intent, this 1,000-word essay, really causes people some stress, and so I thought maybe we could elaborate on the kinds of things that you do actually like to see when you read these.
I like to get a sense of the character of the person. Most of all, I want to know what your motivation is for doing this particular program. So some people have had lots of opportunity to do journalism. Other people haven't. So whether someone has clips is not really going to be a defining factor. Even if you do have clips, we really want to see them, but we don't know who's edited them.
Right.
So it's the autobiographical essay we use to judge your writing quality. So if you have writing problems, it may show up there, and that's important for us to know. But we put a lot of weight on why you want to come to the program and what sort of person you are. Are you curious?
Yeah.
That's one of the things we look for. What do you care about? What gets you out of bed in the morning? How self-aware are you? And frankly, that essay is more important in the Bachelor of Journalism application, certainly, than it is in the BJH application, or probably even the MJ.
Absolutely. We do have a question from our audience. They're wondering, how are internships chosen, and do you choose internships, and are there restrictions?
3 questions, good ones. We do things a little bit differently with internships than many other journalism programs. Many other programs arrange them in advance, and then they decide which students go where. And we take this as helping you take a step into the real world of journalism. And journalism is not an easy place to find a job. So you arrange your own internship. You do that with a lot of help from us. So there are people, each faculty member takes a group of students, and we will go through your resume, we'll go through your cover letter. We stress how important cover letters are. We give you lists of places that students have done internships in the past. We may give you names. In the case of CBC, we'll do a little bit more than that. Right. And there are many outlets that are expecting applications from our students. But it's really limited by your own imagination. We have had students do internships in the Sudan and Paris and New York and the Philippines, and that's just in the last 3 years. So it really is up to students. In terms of restrictions, the internships have to be journalism. The only exception, we do have an other category, so students can pitch me on something different. But generally the only exceptions are publishing. We will let students go into a publishing house as an internship. Or if there is a non-governmental organization that works directly with journalists, and the intern will be working directly with journalists in a journalism outlet, then that's accepted as well. But other than that, it needs to be some form of journalism. That can be a blog, it can be a magazine, it can be ABC News New York, it can be, as long as it's journalism.
And as a former editor of the Toronto Star, you likely had to hire journalists in the past, and so that's true of all of our faculty members. They've all been in positions of looking for people for their own newsrooms throughout their career, so the feedback that you're getting from your professors is going to be incredibly valuable and useful.
Our journalism period, it's a nice time in the year to have the internship, because the internships finish up just as newsrooms start to lose people to vacation. Yes. So a number of our interns have been able to just kind of hang on there and then get part-time work or contract or full-time jobs. So they don't have to come back into school and do things and then start the job hunt over.
Perfect. Question from the audience.
Can I say one more thing about internships?
Absolutely, please do.
People are sometimes under the impression that internships have to be unpaid.
Right.
Most internships are unpaid, but that's not a requirement. If you if you get a job for 4 weeks and it suits the requirements, you can do that as an internship.
We encourage you to take that for sure. This question here is, what is the typical class size of a workshop?
Oh, what a great question.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, what would the smallest workshop I've seen has been, I think 8 students, was a radio documentary. So it depends on the workshop, and the largest would be either 16 or 18, depending on the year. I'm sorry, that's not true. Narrative nonfiction goes over that because Stephen doesn't put a cap on it. So narrative nonfiction is usually the largest, and it will go up to 25.
Right.
So I would say it ranges between 9 and 25. The television workshop is 12, online is 16, newspaper is 16, radio is 14, I believe. So most of them are very small.
Which is great because you're getting a lot of one-on-one attention from the professors, but also your ability to interact with one another and to learn from one another, I think, is a strength of these small classes.
Yeah, each workshop, because everyone works so intensely and so hard, they become a very high-performing team. They know each other very well by the end of the workshop.
You forge lifelong bonds. This question comes from our audience. I don't understand how the lottery process works for workshops. Can you explain?
No, I'm kidding. Sure. So the workshops are assigned by lottery, and what happens is you go through boot camp, we have a big session where we explain all of the workshops, and then you have a week to fill out a ballot, and you put it down your first, second, and third choice. There is a deadline, usually Friday at 9. Then we take the ballot box and we mix it all up, so it really doesn't matter when you put your ballot in. And then Kelly Porter, who's the administrative secretary, and I pull up a big Excel spreadsheet and we pick ballots one by one, and whichever ones we pick first, those are the people who go into the workshop. So sometimes there are a couple of people who don't get their first choice in the fall workshop. They are guaranteed that workshop for the winter workshop.
Fabulous.
And there's also a fair amount of switching around. So people may decide just before a workshop starts that no, actually they want to do narrative nonfiction, not online, and that opens something up in online. So I'm really surprised how rare it is to have people who don't get what they want for workshops. It does happen, but it's pretty rare.
That's pretty rare. It's excellent to know.
And there are prerequisites for the advanced workshops.
Of course. So you wouldn't be able to, say, take advanced radio documentary without having taken radio?
Right. You have to have taken the radio workshop to do the radio documentary.
Excellent. And of course, these things are explained to students when they come into the program and they're starting to think critically about what workshops they'd like to take.
More than once.
More than once. So that just about concludes our information on the Bachelor of Journalism one-year program. Are there any additional...
Can I add things?
I would love, I was going to ask, is there anything additional that you would like to add?
I just want to talk a little bit about how our students use this education.
Yes, absolutely.
Because we've been going for a couple of decades now. Most of the students go into journalism shortly after, but many of them have had really interesting life paths and have talked about how this program has helped them. So, you know, recent graduates, Christine Loureiro, who's an editor at the Toronto Star, Elizabeth McMillan, who's at CBC North, Danny Austin's writing sports in Calgary, Steve Maitch is publisher of Sportsnet. But there's also Gerald Dexter, who's the Premier of Nova Scotia, or Miriam Taves, you know, who won Governor General's Award for her fiction writing, author of A Complicated Kindness and The Flying Troutmans, I believe.
Yes.
So it's a broader education than one might expect, and it's an incredible network once you've done it.
That's beautiful. And thank you for adding that. That is, I think, really valuable to know the different things that can come out of this program.
It was fun. I like talking about the BJ.
We're going to take a brief intermission, returning at 8:30 to talk to you a little bit about our Master of Journalism program.